maybe if you really need that math mark up, spend more time on that one course. But for myself, like studying 1, 2, 3 hours, I would tend to get bored. And then I'm just wasting my time because I'm not actually focused on what I'm studying, what I'm reviewing. So it's good to either break it up into smaller chunks, so studying for 25 minutes, taking a 10-minute break, or 25 minutes on one subject on one day and then 25 minutes on a different subject the next day. And that way your mind is always engaging with new and different information. And to finish up this PowerPoint, I'm pretty sure this is the last slide. Okay. Oh, we already chatted about this. Again, figuring out what works best for you. So I didn't learn this stuff until I was in the third year of university. You know, most people teachers would just say, well, you should go home and study. And it's not obvious what that means, but you should figure out what works best for you, right? So if you play a sport and you know that after 90 minutes, you know, your body's exhausted and the last 30 minutes of practice is essentially useless, you know, maybe practicing just for 90 minutes. Same with studying for a subject. Like if math is the hardest one, maybe you want to do that once a week, twice a week. Maybe you want to do it first, maybe you want to save it till the end. But whatever helps you to succeed. If you can only study math or science or social studies for 10 minutes straight without, I'm not going to say that joke on camera, but you know, if you can only study 10 minutes straight without getting bored, then study for 10 minutes, because again, it's better than nothing, and you're building this habit and skill set. And the skill set will help you not just learning for school, but if you're trying to learn about anything else, right? So how many of you, show of hands, would like to move out of your parents' place at some point in your life? Okay. So there's going to be all these skill sets that you need to learn, right? Like, I don't know, how many of you make your own food? Like you cook your own dinner? Okay, by cook your own dinner, I'm not talking about microwaving something. Okay, some of you do, okay, right? So that's a skill set. Maybe you learn by watching your parents. Maybe you learn by YouTubing stuff. Okay, YouTube's a great place to learn, better than school, I'd say. Okay, but there's going to be a variety of skill sets that you need to learn. Like, how many of you clean the house yourself? Right. Okay. So who taught you how to do that? How did you learn? Like, what do you clean? What is your?
I clean like the bathrooms,
Okay.
the main floor, upstairs, the basement.
Okay.
Basically everything.
Okay. And you said your mom taught you, right? So you
Well,
learned
like,
from
I
your
learned
mom.
From her, but like she didn't actually like teach me.
Well, you watched her, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's a form of studying as well. You just watch what a person does, right? Particularly with athletics, you get to a certain, or sports, eventually you get to a point where you can watch other teams play and learn like, oh, that's actually a smart thing to do. We should do that as well, right? So that's a form of studying as well. And in your life, you're going to need a variety of skills and skill sets that aren't taught in school. You know, like we teach you math, fractions and quadratics and all these other things that I've forgotten all about. But some of the basic skills of, you know, money skills, for example, we don't teach you a whole lot of that, right? And so studying that skill 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes a day is going to help you. Okay. Another major benefit to your grades, to your study, so there's a lot of good science on this. I don't know if this is the exercise slide, but there's a lot of good science apparently on, you know, if you're at home, you're studying for an hour, 30 minutes, you're trying to learn, taking a short nap can help boost what your brain remembers and how much you're able to recall, essentially from what I remember. Okay, but taking a short nap after you learn something, like how many of you get home and the first thing you want to do is just go to sleep? Okay. Now, how many of you have been getting 8 hours of sleep every night anyways? Okay, so if you're getting good sleep at night and after a long day of learning, because you know it's a lot. You go 4 different classes, maybe 3 of them are academic classes. It's a lot of stuff, information to just have bombarded at you, right? You go home, first thing you want to do is take a nap because your brain's exhausted. And there is a benefit to doing that when you're studying. Okay? But making sure you get good quality sleep, and you know, anywhere from 7 to 10 hours of sleep every night is what's going to allow you to perform the best, whether it's at school, in sports, feel better as well emotionally. You know, there's also good research out there to suggest that your appetite is controlled a lot by sleep as well. You know, let's say if you're trying to lay off the sugar and ice cream, but you're not getting a lot of sleep, it's going to be harder to fight off those cravings as well if you're not getting a lot of sleep. Okay, so get your sleep, kids. Oh, I guess I can just add with that. There's also really good research on exercising in between studying. So myself over the summer when I was preparing my material for my grade 10 course, I would maybe do 20 to 40 minutes of work, and then I'd either go for a walk or, you know, go outside, whatever it was. I would get some movement, whether it was just walking around my house, going in the neighborhood, or using a little treadmill in my living room, right? But this exercise is also very beneficial, which kind of sucks because when we're in school, how often do you kids move in your class? You don't, right? And it's not fun sitting in a desk for 80 minutes, is it? See, I'm lucky. I get to stand, I get to walk around, I'm always moving. Hopefully, we'll incorporate some movement into the class as well, because I don't think it's good that kids sit for 80 minutes, multiple blocks a day, and people wonder why by third and fourth block, they're a little crazy. Okay. Anyways, this last slide is just to remind you about lifelong learning, essentially. So, you know, everyone studies. Right now, you study for school, you study to remember what you need to know for your test, but in life, once you leave school, there's not a whole lot of tests. There's not a lot of multiple choice tests or essays. So you're going to need to study and prepare for things that you're not aware of, right? How to take care of yourself, let's say, how to improve your health, how to pay your taxes, whatever it is. So everyone studies, and so having a good habit of studying, whether it's 5 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, to continuously learn and improve yourself and be the best version of yourself, right? So for example, for those of you who play sports and have had multiple different coaches over the years, you might notice some coaches do things differently than other coaches, right? And hopefully over time you accumulate the best practices and you figure out what works best for you. And you should do the same for your life as well. Now in terms of school, like, yeah, have some cheat sheets, make notes. I think one good tip the teacher mentioned to me was for each test that kids should prepare a cheat sheet regardless of whether or not they get to bring it into class. And that's emphasizing the idea of if you were to have one page of notes that you could bring into the test with you, what would you write down on that? What would you study? What would you review? And even if you don't get to bring that into your test with you, at least you spent the time making it, going over your material, and making sure you were aware of what you needed to be aware of. Okay. So that concludes the PowerPoint there.